On December 1st, 6 days ago as of this recording, The Elder Scrolls Online came out with this post. Beginning December 6th, we will be conducting population testing in Cyrodiil. Log in to fight for your favorite alliance to receive double AP. More information can be found here. So, obviously this caught my attention. I decided to go in and read it, and it's from Brian Wheeler. And it says, "Heyo all! Next week we'll be running some tests in Cyrodiil, where we'll be periodically adjusting the population caps. The first realm being tested is PCEU on Wednesday, December 6th. Yesterday. During this time, we will increase population caps and monitor throughout the day primetime hours. Through primetime hours. If all goes well, we will do the same on consoles later in the week. There's an edit. PCNA is also online today for the population cap test. Consoles will still be added later in the week. We encourage everyone willing to fight for their alliance to hop into their respective campaigns, because throughout the testing period until December 12th, everyone in Cyrodiil will earn double AP. Thanks in advance for joining this population test for Cyrodiil, and enjoy the double AP while the test is active. See you on the field." Now, this came out on December 1st. I posted on the same day. I've been sitting on this for a little while, and I wrote, "I don't understand. Performance struggles in Greyhost fully populated, so they're going to test with more people. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. If it's already struggling, why add, like, if you have a house fire, why add more gasoline to the fire?" That's my perspective when I first read it. Is there some sort of back-end integration they've incorporated or something? It's been 6 days. I still don't know. I really don't. But there are a few theories that I have heard that hold some merit, and I thought it'd be fun to talk about them on a video and talk to you guys about what those are, potentially poke some holes in them, and get feedback from you guys on what you think this potentially is. Now, I will say, I think this is clearly a stress test. They're trying to see how well the servers perform with more people. Why is the real question. Why are they doing this? And I think there's two main ones that I think hold a lot of merit. Now, I was working on this video and I saw him post on Discord this morning that he believes that the reason they're doing this stress test is to remove some PvP servers from the game. So you have Greyhost, you have Blackreach, you have your no CP campaign, and you have your under 50. He believes that this is their stress testing to get all of the PvP population on the same server. So they're going to eliminate as many servers as possible to cut costs. And that makes sense. I think it makes sense. That's why I'm talking about it. If you have X amount of performance, like let's say your performance is like 80% during primetime hours or whatever, there's a tolerable amount. If you increase the population amount and you don't see a noticeable degradation in performance, like it's still roughly the same, yeah, it's still not great. You know, it's still not great, but now you have more people fighting in the same area with the same amount of performance that you already would have. So why not just have everybody fighting in the same area? I look at it as a win for both sides. Like, I look at it as a win for the developers. They get to cut costs and save money, which obviously, you know, players are going to get negative feedback from. But from a PvPer's perspective, part of the reason I stopped playing ESO, which I've talked about in other videos, is I couldn't find fights. There's times where it said it was populated, and the only fight I could find was like a 30v30 at one keep. There was nobody anywhere else. And so there was just no point in running around trying to find other fights. You just had to engage in the one big one, which is not the fun aspect of Cyrodiil that I remember. And so I've been taking a break from the game for that reason. It was just really hard to find enjoyable PvP. Increasing the population cap, having more people fighting on the same campaign with similar performance means that you will find more fights. And I think whether you agree or disagree, I think that's a good thing. So I think this makes a lot of sense. I think this holds a lot of merit. That's why I'm obviously talking about it. And if you look at it in general, this is stuff that they have done in the past. They have absolutely restricted servers. They have removed them. If you go back and play, if you remember playing during the Hatter's days, there were so many more different servers. I want to say that there was 7 or 8 at that point in time. And on top of those 7 or 8, there was one Imperial City district per server. So if you hopped into Shore and then you went into Imperial City, that was the Imperial City for Shore. If you hopped into Hatteras, that was the Imperial City for Hatteras. So they had quite a few different servers. And then they restricted Imperial City. Imperial City got narrowed down to 2 servers, if I remember correctly, or whatever. They add a few during double AP and everything, and double Telvar. But yeah, that's happened. It's happened in the past. Why wouldn't it happen again in the future? Obviously, some of these campaigns, I was just talking about in the last video, some campaigns aren't doing very well, so why keep them running? And so it makes sense. Also, it is my belief, and it is a lot of PvPers' beliefs, that they have been lowering population caps for a while now. And so it wouldn't be crazy if they went back to a previous number and just threw everybody into that server. And so I definitely see this as viable. Now, my perspective is I've been playing for a while. Although I agree that this is a very good theory and this very well could be what they are doing, this is not how I would go about doing it. This is just my perspective. I wouldn't go about doing it this way if I was coming from them. I wouldn't announce a test. Like, clearly this is a stress test to see how the servers will handle more people. I wouldn't build hope within the community only to then restrict or cut out servers. I would go about doing it quietly in the same way that they went out doing the Imperial City campaigns, where they just removed them. That's how I would go about doing it. I'm not saying that they're me or anything like that. I think they're going to get way more negative feedback if that's the route that they go. It's very possible that that's still what they do. If I were them, I would just announce a double AP event in January or December after Christmas, like they've done in the past. That we've had December double AP events. I would have a big one. I would quietly stress test in the back end and see if this is exactly what's happening. And then come the new chapter release, I would then announce like, hey, we are restricting the amount of servers. Nobody's playing in these anyways. Like, it's one bar best prime time. Like, what's the point in having the server anymore if nobody's playing on it? We're going to remove it. I think you get a lot less flack that way. I think you get a lot less negativity that way. And overall, I think when they don't want to talk about something, they brush it under the rug. Now, I brought it up in the last video as well, and I'll bring it up again here. But a few years ago, they announced that they were going to rewrite all of the server code. They said that should be done by the end of 2022, and then they pushed it back into 2023. I then asked for follow-up in 2023, and we finally got an announcement that they finished all they changed the wording on it. I forget what they said it was, but they said it made no noticeable difference, and so then they didn't integrate those things. And so instead of making an announcement and announcing those things, they needed to get questions from the community. They were going to brush it under the rug until somebody said something. And so then they made the announcement. I think that would be their MO. And so this comes off as different to me. Now, what do I think it is? What do I think the main theory is? I think they have something that they think is going to improve performance. And because they've been so snake bitten over the last 3, 4, 5 years, 2020 is the year of performance. 2020, like, we're going to fix this game, and it's now 2023 and it hasn't happened yet. I think they know that if they make any sort of announcement like that, they're going to get negative feedback. You don't want to get people's hopes up. So how would you go about doing this? Like, let's say you're finally sitting on a performance improvement. Like, you finally think that the game is at a point to where you could incorporate something and performance will get better. You don't want to announce that it's going to actually get better until it does. So what would you do? Well, this is what they're posting right here is exactly what I would do. I would say, hey, we are going to increase population caps on the servers. We are going to test this and we're going to see what happens. Double AP, come get your double AP. PvPers will hop in, PvEers will hop in, win or lose, whether the test succeeds or fails. Everybody gets double AP. Everybody's mostly happy. We don't know what the test is about. You keep it vague for that reason, and then you see what the results are. That way, if it fails, and it very well could fail, if it fails, we never hear about it again. You never hear about what the test was about. You never hear about if this changed anything or anything like that, unless it actually does. Now, if the test succeeds and the performance is actually good, and you're doing it in Q4 of 2023, which is where we're at right now, then potentially, if it does work, and they've said in the past multiple times, they will not make PvP improvements unless they see a noticeable change in performance.
New PvP content, I've mentioned that a ton as well, and that comes down to performance. The focus is on performance and making Cyrodiil good. We don't want to add new things to PvP and just add more problem.
If this does change performance, you now can look into 2024, your overall rollout of content, and you have tests to back up that saying like, hey, we can now work on PvP. I'm not saying that this is going to happen, guys. I want to be clear. I've been very critical. I do not believe that a performance upgrade is going to happen until I see it. I'm on a wait and see approach. There's a reason I'm not playing right now. There's a reason performance is stale. The meta is stale. They haven't been working on it for a while. But if I were to put myself in the shoes of a developer, me personally, this is how I would go about saying, potentially, we have a fix. I'm not trying to get your hopes up or anything like that, but there is some optimism here. I've been following their patch notes for a while. I've been following their updates for a while. This is a little different than what they normally do. Like how often have you heard of a stress test in Cyrodiil? The last time they did this, they did the cast times on all the different skills and abilities. They did multiple performance tests back in 2021 in Cyrodiil. That's the last time they went about trying to fix the game. And so, yeah. That's my perspective. But I'm not saying I'm right. Obviously, I'm not right. Just because this is what I would do doesn't mean that this is what they would do. They're different people. They're different they're actually developers. I'm just a guy with a YouTube channel. like we're two completely different things. And so I wanted to provide you 2 points of view that make a lot of sense. I wanted to provide you 2 different theories that make a lot of sense if you look at them. And I wanted to ask you guys, which one do you think makes more sense? Do you think Sawman's right? Do you think I'm right? Is it something else? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.